Hello yogis, and welcome back to the yoga clinic. My name is Becca. So today we're going to be doing a flow that's about getting back to the basics. So whether you're a seasoned practitioner or whether you're brand new to yoga, this class will be relevant to you. We're going to break down some really basic common postures like warrior one, warrior two, wide-legged forward fold. And I'm going to tell you how to get into the pose safely and how you can modify the pose to make it better suited to your body, whether it's in flexibility, whether it's being sore, or whether you just kind of want to take it easy for a day. So you won't need any props today. I'm going to meet you on your mat in a child's pose, or balasana it's called. So I'm going to be breaking down the postures a little bit more in this class than I generally do. So for that reason, we're going to be moving at a slower pace. So for balasana, child's pose, there's two ways you can take it. Both we're going to have our toes together, and then the knees can be together or the knees can be out wide. If you take your knees out wide, this is going to get more into the inner thighs. Knees together is going to cause more rounding in the back, and so it will release the spine. So for today, I would recommend knees wide because we're going to be doing a lot of standing postures that are very leg heavy, but it's up to you. Stretch your arms out in front of you. And you can bring your forehead down to the mat, letting tension go across your shoulders, letting your jaw loosen. And then taking a deep breath in through your nose and feeling air filling the whole torso. And then exhale out of your nose and feel the air leaving the torso, feeling the ribs hugging around your midline. Two more like that. Inhale, filling up. Front body, sides of the body, back of the body. And exhale, emptying out. Feeling the body melt into the earth on the exhale. Inhale, filling up, energizing. And exhale, settling. Good. From here, we're going to slowly make our way into our first downward facing dog, or Adho Mukha Svanasana. So we'll tuck the toes under. And take the hands out in front of you. And before you lift up, I want you to feel for pressing down through the base of your index finger knuckle. And then spreading the energy across all your base knuckles so that your hands are flat and your fingers are spreading wide. And then keeping the knuckles flat, feel for gripping slightly with the hands on the mat. So this is going to activate not only your hands, but your forearms, which will protect the wrists, which is a really common injury in especially beginning yoga students, is that the wrists get sore from all of the time we spend on our hands. So we'll keep this active hand position. We'll begin to lift the knees. And because this is our first down dog, you can totally keep your knees nice and bent, pulling the navel in and up, and sending your chest towards your thighs. Feel for pressing the floor away from you. Feel your shoulder blades separate and slide towards your back. And then also feel for broadening your collarbones and hugging your upper arm bones in. Lift your tailbone and then take some deep breaths. Sides of the neck are long. And you're going to see my dog chasing squirrels in the background here. Okay, let's look towards the hands. We'll come up on tippy toes, lift the heels, and then walk the toes up towards the top of the mat, keeping the gaze moving forward. We'll find a halfway lift, belly draws in, extend forward through the back of your head, sides of the neck long, shoulders towards your waist. And then exhale, knit your rib cage, draw your waist in, and fold from your hips. Again, inhale, long spine, tailbone back, crown of the head forward. Exhale, belly in, fold. Inhale, this time we'll rise all the way up to stand. Press down through the feet and lift your arms up. And then exhale, Samasthitihi, or standing at ready position. We'll bring the thumbs to the heart. We'll bring the big toes to touch. Little slice of pie between the heels. Feel for belly drawing in. but don't tuck the tailbone too much. Press down through your feet, and then lift up through your heels, but press your big toe mounds down. Good, we're gonna begin with Surya Namaskar A, or Sun Salutation A. We're gonna go through 2 of these. The first one we're gonna modify, and the second one we'll do more traditional. So inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach your arms up, press down through your feet, belly in, and then exhale, forward fold, or Uttanasana. Hands can come down, you can bend the knees or come to your fingertips, drop your head. Then inhale, find that halfway lift, belly in, long spine, looking forward. And exhale, we'll step the feet back, plank. And then instead of chaturanga, we're gonna lower to the belly for this first one. Cobra pose, hands stay underneath the shoulders. Draw the elbows together, press down into the tops of the feet, and then inhale and peel your head and your chest up. Exhale, lower down. Bhujangasana, Cobra, number 2. Inhale, press down into the hands, down into the feet, belly in, and lift up. Gaze down the bridge of the nose, and exhale, lower. Bhujangasana, number 3, last one, inhale. Shoulders draw towards your waist. Exhale, lower. Let's go child's pose, pressing hips towards heels, to downward facing dog. So traditionally we take 5 long breaths here. Let's do 3 today. You can pedal out your feet here, kind of stretching through the backs of the legs one at a time. And then find some stillness. Exhale the air out. Inhale, come up onto the tops of the toes, look forward. And then exhale, feet to the hands, tiptoeing, big stepping, or maybe jumping. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine, shoulders back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, Urdhva Hastasana, arms reach up, look at your thumbs. Exhale, Samastitihi. So round number 2, we're gonna go a little faster this time. We're gonna do the traditional Surya Namaskar A, or Sun Salutation A. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, chaturanga. So starting in plank, we're gonna turn the eyes of the elbows forward and then lower down halfway. So the elbows are gonna bend straight back. We're actually gonna tilt shoulders past the wrists so that when we lower, the elbows stay over the wrists. Roll the shoulders out of the ears and then come to the tops of the feet. This is our upward facing dog, and we'll just straighten the elbows. Whew, so it's like a push-up. Okay, let's try that again. Chaturanga, tuck your toes, elbows over the wrists, eyes of the elbows forward, shoulders past your fingers, and then lower, halfway. Good, up dog, straighten your elbows. Open your collarbones, look up, or lift your gaze and then look down the bridge of your nose. And then exhale, down dog. We're gonna tuck the chin, tuck the toes, and try to move from your belly. So pulling the belly in and up, lifting the hips up and back. Good, downward facing dog. Three breaths, that was 1. 3. Look towards the top of the mat. We'll inhale onto the tiptoes, and then exhale, step forward. Fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Again, knees can be bent. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, and exhale, Samastitihi. Okay, so moving on to our standing positions, we're gonna start with a crescent lunge, or a high lunge it's also called. We'll take the left foot back. Traditionally in Ashtanga-based classes, or like flow-based classes, we always lead with the right leg. So with the right foot forward, we'll step the left foot back, and then make your legs wide, almost as wide as your mat, so that your hips can be nice and square. And then we'll bend deeply into the front knee. Feel for the knee tracking in between the big and the second toe. Good, belly button draws in and up, and then pull your ribs down. Feel for this back glute muscle turning on, and then maybe you can sink a little lower. Press down into the feet, scissor them together energetically. Good. Take your arms up, thumbs behind you, biceps by your ears. Breathe here. Moving into our twist, or Parvrita Parshvakonasana it's called. You don't have to remember that. We're going to drop the back knee down for this one. And I'm going to show you how to get into this posture and then how to get into the full expression. So we'll still keep the legs hip width distance, but sometimes I actually find this posture specifically is easier to bring the feet more in like line. So like if they're on train tracks, the train tracks just got narrower. Again, we're going to draw the arms up, belly in, turn on the back glute, and then we're going to rotate towards the right, so towards the right leg. Bring the hands to prayer. Now we're going to lean forward here, crown of the head forward, and hook the left elbow outside the right knee. Now from here, press elbow into knee and knee into elbow. And as you do that, can you bring the thumbs towards your heart? Keep scissoring the legs in together so that the inner thighs are engaged. Shoulders out of your ears. Now, stay here or begin to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Now, this is plenty hard for me. The fullest expression, we're going to ground down that back foot at a 45-degree angle. So, front heel lines up with the back arch is traditional, or widen the stance. As wide as you need to keep your hips square towards the front of your mat. Belly draws in, rotate through your mid-back. Press down through the outside edge of your back foot. Reach the crown of your head forward, and then maybe you can extend the arms. Left hand comes to the floor or to a block. Right arm reaches up, and then full expression, we take the right arm overhead, like you're reaching out to shake somebody's hand. Pull your right hip back, left hip forward. Good, look down at the floor, inhale, we'll cartwheel the arms all the way up, coming into Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana. So for this one, we do want the front heel lined up with the back arch. We'll find that 90-degree bend in the front knee. And then this one, the hips are open, facing the side of your mat this time. Press down and away through your feet. Open your arms wide, spreading collarbones, spreading shoulder blades. Look over your middle finger. And then imagine someone's pulling your backhand back so that the torso stays over the hips. We'll step back to the top of the mat. Samastitihi. Left foot forward, hands to heart. Okay, all that on the other side. Crescent lunge. Right foot steps back. Widen your stance. Sink low in the front knee. Squeeze your back glute. Belly in. Arms up. Breathe. Coming into our twist, we'll drop the back knee down. And then to get into the posture again, I like to move my front foot in towards midline. Untuck the back toes, lift the arms up, belly in, rotate towards the left. Hands come to heart, right elbow outside left knee, and then think knee into elbow, elbow into knee. Belly draws in and up, twisting, reaching the tops of the ears forward. Now maybe tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, engage the back leg. Widen your stance if you need to. We're going to ground the back foot down. Keep twisting. Keep bending into front knee. And then hand outside of foot is an option. Left arm up and overhead. Look down. Inhale, cartwheel the arms up. Warrior Two. Open your hips to face the right side of your mat. Press down into the outside edge of your back foot. Heel to arch. 90-degree bend in your front leg if you can. Firm your inner thighs. Then open your collarbones. Open your shoulder blades. Depress your shoulders out of your ears and look forward. Core is active. And Samasthitihi, top of the mat. Bonus points if you can do it in one step. Okay. So next we're going to move into tree pose. So a little bit of balance, and then we'll do Warrior One and open wide-legged forward fold. So tree pose, again, we're going to start with the right leg as the action leg. So the left foot, we're going to stamp it down. Find your active feet like you're squeezing the mat with your toes, but then keep the squeezing in the bottom of the foot, but lift the toes. So that's going to activate your arch. Set the toes down, keep the active foot. Squeeze your standing leg quad muscle, and then pick up your right foot. And for beginning students, they might be afraid of falling, so we'll just kickstand the right foot onto the inner left leg like so. Work on externally rotating your right thigh bone. For more, we'll start to walk the heel up the leg. We don't want to rest the foot on the knee, just because the knee doesn't like to laterally bend. More advanced students can bring the heel in towards the left inner thigh. Press the hips forward. Pull the belly in. Draw the ribs down. Find nice wide collarbones. And then maybe you can find one spot to focus on, and that's going to help the balance. Hands start in prayer, or we can start to grow the hands up and maybe open the arms wide. Pull the arms back behind you. Keep the core engaged so we're not arching back. And change. We'll reverse the steps. Hands come to heart. Step the right foot down. Left foot. Find your active right foot, active right leg. Feel the right kneecap lifting. Kickstand the left toes. Find your pelvis, belly in and up, ribs down. Outer thighs engaged. And opening the left thigh. And then walking the heel up. Again, avoiding the knee. Maybe finding the inner thigh. Hands come to prayer. Focus your gaze, smile, breathe. Maybe growing your tree. Pulling the ribs down to avoid back bending here. And reversing your steps. Good. Okay, good job. So moving into warrior one as promised. So we'll step the left foot back. And widen your stance here like you're standing on wide train tracks. This is just making it more accessible. So traditionally, we would have front heel to back arch, but when we do this, that back hip has a really hard time squaring towards the front of the mat. We have to be really flexible to do that. So just to be able to get into warrior one without that kind of experience, we'll just widen the stance so that the hip points can square forward. Ground down into the back edge of your back foot. Feel the muscles of your back leg wrapping the bones. Glute muscle engaged. Bend the front knee a lot. Belly in and up. Ribs down. Open your arms. We're going to bring the hands together. Biceps by the ears. And then pick up your chin. Look at your thumbs. Good. We'll switch sides. Step forward. And then right foot back. So you can start in your crescent here to square off the hips, widen your stance, and then find grounding the back foot down, lifting the arch of the back foot, and pressing down through the pinky side edge. Square your hips. Find that nice deep bend in the front knee. Knee's not moving in or out. It's right in front of the center of the foot. Left hip back, right hip forward. Belly in, arms up, look up. Reach up through your fingertips, active through your hands. And step back to the top of the mat, Samastitihi. Okay, last standing posture today, we're going to take Prasarita Padottanasana, or wide-legged forward fold. So stepping the feet out wide. And we want to make sure that the inner arches are parallel in this posture. So a lot of people want to turn the toes out, which is okay, but it's not the pose that we're doing. That's more of a goddess pose. So we'll parallel the feet or turning the big toe slightly inwards, heels slightly out. Doesn't matter how wide you step your feet, but the wider you go, the deeper you're going to be able to fold forward. So if you become very flexible and your head comes to the ground, you might begin to shorten the stance, make it harder. Hands come to your hips, squeeze the front of the legs, press down active feet. So like you're squeezing the mat with your feet and then spreading the toes. Belly in, hands to your hips, pull your elbows back, and then pull your ribs down. Good. Now keep that. We're going to fold forward, leading from the heart, trying to keep a straight spine. Tailbone moves back, sitting bones spreading wide behind you. And then when you feel like you can't fold anymore, take your hands down. Hands can be in line with the feet. That's traditional. You can move them back a little bit. You can move them forward. Again, wherever your hands are, think squeezing elbows in, shoulders out of the ears. The shoulder blades are separating. And then grip the floor to bring your torso down more, keeping the belly in. And breathe. And again, slight bend in the knees is always okay in forward folds. Crown of the head is heavy. Thigh bones are spinning inwards. And then look forward, straighten your elbows. Pause here. We'll take the hands to the hips. Stay. And then inhale, tuck the chin, rise all the way up. And exhale. Good job. Okay, so we're going to bring it down to the mat now. We'll do Navasana, and then we'll do 2 seated postures. So Navasana is boat pose. This is the core work that was built into the Ashtanga series, primary series. So we'll start by sitting upright with our feet in front of us, hands behind the thighs. Pull the belly in, open the shoulders wide, and then begin to sit back until you feel your core engage. Now, you can stay right here, working on a straight spine, nice broad chest. To make this harder, we'll begin to lift the feet. So we're looking for this nice V shape between the thighs and the torso. Belly draws in. There's a tendency for the belly to want to kind of puff out. Try to pull everything in towards your spine. Good. Now from here, you can float the hands forward. So it's going to make it even harder. Or bring the knees together and then extend the legs. So finding that classic V shape of Navasana. Pull your thighs towards your chest, chest towards your thighs, and get tall through crown of the head. Active through your feet. Plug your upper arm bones into the sockets. Belly button in and up. And release. Feet come down. Good. Okay. We will do, first thing we'll do is a forward fold. I guess I'm just going to turn around this way for no real reason. Forward fold. So a lot of people have in their minds a classic forward fold with head on the knees and the hands around the feet, which is just not accessible for a lot of us and definitely not every single day. So you can always sit up on a block, and that's going to help students who have really tight hamstrings get that anterior tilting of the pelvis to bring the chest forward. Because a lot of us will be like this and we'll be like, can't really fold forward because the hamstrings are too tight. So that's one option. You can also bend the knees, and that's going to let the hips flex a little bit more, even with tight hamstrings. So bringing the chest forward, looking forward. And then from here, you can bring the hands underneath the thighs, grabbing elbows, and then slowly walk the feet forward. If you feel you're pretty flexible in the hamstrings, we'll keep the legs straight, flexing the feet. Find the anterior tilt of the pelvis, belly in, shoulder blades wide, and then again, reaching from the chest, long spine, sits bones go back, and folding. And again, you don't have to bring your head to your legs. Peace fingers might find the big toes, pulling the arms back into their sockets, and reaching the chest forward. So the poses that I'm offering you today are from the Ashtanga primary series. There's multiple ways and philosophies about how to do these postures. There goes my dog. This is the Ashtanga method. Okay, so if you go to a yoga class and they're teaching you something different, that's also valid. I'm just teaching you a very specific way to do it. And this is the way that I first learned how to do these postures. Good. Inhale, look up, straighten your arms, and then exhale, release. Pedal out the legs. Last posture we're going to take today is Baddha Konasana, or bound angle. We'll take the soles of the feet together, knees wide. And then if you have really tight inner thighs, you can bring blocks outside of the knees to bring some of the pressure off of the adductors, your inner thighs. If you're very open, let the knees flop out. Either way, we'll take thumbs to the arches, wrap the hands around the feet from the top, and then pull the elbows in towards your ribs, pull your belly in, and reach your chest forward. Slight tuck to the chin. So trying to keep a long spine here, shoulders broad. In other styles of classes, there's a less emphasis on the long spine. For Ashtanga, we keep a long, straight spine, and this is going to protect our joints and focus more on musculature. Shoulders out of the ears. Imagine your shoulder blades moving into opposite back pockets, turning on the upper back muscles. There should never be any pain in the joints in Ashtanga Yoga. If there is, we need to come out and try a less deep variation. In forward folding postures, the core is engaged. The core is what brings you forward and finds that anterior tilt of your pelvic bowl. Good. We'll inhale, look up, and exhale, release. Sit up, grab the knees, bring them together. Come down onto your back. We'll do Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose, into Shavasana. So bridge posture, let's bring the shoulder blades underneath us, and then walk the heels in so that your fingertips can graze them. Now press down into the tops of the feet, or into the bottoms of the feet. Don't know how you would do that. And as you do that, feel the back of the legs begin to turn on. Now, can you press down into the heels also, so that you're pressing down into the whole foot, almost like all four corners of the foot? Good. Now, pull your belly in, and feel for gripping of your upper glutes around the tailbone. We want to release that. So tailbone's nice and loose, but the core is engaged, hamstrings are engaged, shoulder blades drawing together. Press down into your feet a lot. Send the knees forward. Imagine sliding the feet forward, but pressing down into the heels. So there's opposite action going on here, activating the front and back of the leg. Belly's drawing in, tailbone's relaxed. You can press down into the backs of the arms and into the hands, and let the chest move up towards the chin. Back of the head presses down, inner thighs rolling down, outer glutes engage. Good. And then to come out of this posture, you can just lower. I find it's friendlier to bring the heels up and then to lower down, keeping the belly in until you get to the mat, then lowering the heels. Gather the knees into the chest and give yourself a little rock to release your lower back. Good. Shavasana. Extend the feet wide. Extend the arms wide. Roll the head side to side a bit. Just feel for equilibrium here. And then find stillness. Let the breath return to natural. And let the body melt down into the earth. Please stay in your Shavasana. I'm just going to debrief with you a little bit before we end class. This is a Back to Basics course. It's the first one that I've done. So if you like this class, please leave me a comment. And I'm happy to do others, breaking down other more basic postures so that we can build a nice, safe foundation for our yoga practice. If there's anything else also besides basic postures you'd like to see more of, please let me know that as well. Thank you so much for showing up with me today.